presidential candidate made a stop in Reno today. This time it was Republican Rand Paul beginning a day-long tour of the state here in Reno this morning. KOLO 8 News Now's Ed Pierce was there. Ed, he expects to do well here.
And for good reason. There's a healthy libertarian streak in the wing of the Republican Party, which battled with the GOP hierarchy on behalf of his father during his presidential run. Rand Paul's strategy is to build on that core of support.
Dr. Rand Paul.
His father has been a rock star in the fringes of the Republican Party. The son has brought that same appeal closer to the mainstream. But it's committed supporters like the 150 or so who crowded into a small room at the Atlantis this morning who can bring the organization and enthusiasm that'll make the difference in a crowded field in an early caucus state like ours. The Paul campaign knows this, and we should expect to see more of him as February 2016 approaches.
We do think that Nevada has more of a leave-me-alone coalition kind of attitude, and so we think we can do very well here. We usually have good crowds.
It's a very crowded field, but neither he nor his father have ever had trouble standing out in a crowd.
You know what? That hasn't been my problem, standing out from the pack. But I did stand for 10.5 hours for your right to be left alone.
He says tax reform in both parties has been a matter of shifting the load from one set of Americans to another. His plan, one rate for all.
One rate for everybody, 14.5%. And I'm also somebody who will argue for a more reasonable, rational foreign policy that doesn't have us perpetually at war.
On the Supreme Court decision on same-sex marriage.
Ideally, I think government should be more neutral on these affairs. So I'd like to see a government that's not involved on either side of the issue.
Paul believes the key to winning is attracting new voters, and his stand on what he calls the overcriminalization of America, drug laws, is one way to do that.
But when you look at who the jail are full of, they're disproportionately black and brown. So we need to figure out a way to do that, and there's a whole new receptive audience to us who says, you know what, if we're skeptical about big government in your business and in taxes, we're skeptical about big government in criminalization and going too far with criminalization.
Now, if you'll remember, 22 of the 25 GOP delegates to the National Convention in 2012 were committed to Ron Paul, though by agreement they voted for Mitt Romney on the first ballot. So the Paulistas are likely to be heard from again next year. Noah.
All right. Thank you.